The Shadow Treasurer, Ted O'Brien, joins me. Hi, Ted.
G'day, Clinton.
Before we get into that one, the inflation figures have been released today as well, and I need to ask you about that. The inflation rate CPI for the 12 months of December has increased to 3.8%. Jim Chalmers says, look, they were fearful that the rates would be going up. Is that a good enough response?
Look, it's not, and you're right, it's at 3.8%. That makes inflation higher than any major advanced economy. It's an horrific outcome, and the market has already spoken. The market is predicting that next week the RBA will increase interest rates. So it's bad news, and unfortunately the Treasurer today in his interviews just refused to take any responsibility, didn't have any solutions as to turn this around. And so really, if you can't have a Treasurer who admits the problem and will take responsibility to fix it, then he can't be relied upon. And that's really disappointing and probably quite scary, I think, for everyday Australians who are relying on a Treasurer and a government to try to manage the economy.
But he did say that there are a range of cost of living measures that the government's rolling out to deal with this exact issue.
He has been saying the same thing for 4 years, and Australians are hurting. And so this is a problem, that they do not know how to manage the economy. It continues to get worse. I mean, when you've got energy prices up by around about 40% since Labor came in, you know there's something wrong. Food and insurance is up near 20%. Housing, I mean, everything is going through the roof. The government has no solutions. Where it has announced policies, none of them are working. I mean, they have a housing policy, and it's very clear that housing policy is driving prices up. They are falling short of their targets. This is the highest spending government in 40 years.
Well, on that government spending, Ted, there's a $57 billion black hole in the budget. So in the forward estimates for the next 4 years, the deficits are bigger than we all thought. But the Treasurer did release his update in December. How didn't we know about that then?
Well, basically, they try to hide it, and this is the problem. Over the medium term, you have nearly $60 billion that the government can't answer for, and this is why it's referred to as a black hole. And so the government went to the election last year and presented its budget forecast, and then in December, the Treasurer stands up and he tells the Australian people that, oh, yeah, it's still in line with what I told you at the election. But what we've been able to uncover is, in fact, there's a black hole of nearly $60 billion. And so what accounts for that? What's he planning on spending so much money on?
It's because of spending. It's not because of a shortfall in tax revenue, tax receipts at all. But government spending, for instance, there's going to be a meeting of the health ministers on Friday where the states have been pushing for more federal government spending for the states. I know here in hospitals in New South Wales, they are chockers because they need extra money. Isn't that spending justified?
Oh, look, there's no doubt that there are key vital public services that need to keep being funded. And this is why managing the economy is so important. And so are our hospitals important, our education system, our modern infrastructure? Absolutely. Is there a role for government in providing those services? Yes. But if the government messes up the economy, it is less likely to be able to keep funding these things, which is why it all comes back to the importance of a strong economy, Clinton. The economy isn't the end game, it's the means, right? A strong economy is the means by which you can have a strong health system. It's the means by which you can have a good education system. But right now, the figures bore this out today, both the inflation figures and the black hole. The economy is deteriorating, and we have a Treasurer and a government which is blind to it, refusing to admit it, won't take responsibility for it, and have no solutions for it. And that's the scary part.
Ted, while I have you with me, the Nationals may well hold a spill motion on Monday. Colin Boyce is planning to challenge David Littleproud. Doesn't mean there will be a vote, but there needs to be a majority of Nationals to make that vote. If there is a leadership change, if Colin Boyce or somebody else replaces David Littleproud, is there then a chance the coalition gets back together?
Clinton, a few things. I've been very clear that I believe Australia is best served by a united Liberal National coalition. And I am hopeful that at some point in the future, we will get back together. You can't force these things. However, I've also been making it very clear over recent days that it's not the business of the National Party to be publicly commenting on the internal machinations of the Liberal Party. So here I am now, and I think you asked the right question, but my answer really is it is a matter for the National Party. I respect that. As the deputy leader of the Liberal Party, I don't plan to intervene.
There has certainly been talk, though, out of Canberra, out of your side of politics, out of the Liberals, that for the coalition to get back together, David Littleproud can't remain in the job. Well, this may well be the opportunity for change there.
Again, Clinton, I just don't want to be commenting on National Party matters. I get pretty grumpy when National MPs start trying to comment on Liberal Party matters, so I don't want to be a hypocrite and get on your show and start providing commentary on the Nats.
I appreciate that, because there's certainly plenty of whispers coming out again from the Liberals, particularly the moderate Liberals, that Susan Lee may well survive, because you guys don't want to be seen to be kowtowing to David Littleproud. So is Susan Lee going to survive next week?
Well, when it comes to the media speculation about next week, I don't believe there will be a media challenge. Now, again, you can never forecast the future, but I speak to a lot of colleagues from across the party, and last week was a really big week for us and a sad one given the break in the coalition. And I think Susan really did demonstrate dignity and strength in her decision making. And regardless of where people might sit within the party, I haven't spoken to anybody who has questioned her decision making last week. And that's what makes me draw the conclusion that while the media is very interested, I do think it is overstated. And as things stand now, I don't believe that there'll be a challenge next week.
It'll be entertaining to watch anyway. Good luck next week, Ted.
Thanks very much, Clinton. All the best.
The Shadow Treasurer, Ted O'Brien.